I take it you got Robin Moore's archive decrypted?
We did. Moore discovered a Shaper relic that he called the Auspex. The Symposium wanted it. Moore refused them. They pursued and eventually murdered him. But Moore knew the Symposium was coming. That's why he covered everything up. So the Symposium would never find out he hid the Auspex.
I see where this is going. You three know where it is.
Yes! Data archive, so much everything. Breathe. What Maddie is trying to say is that Moore's archive tells us where the Auspex is.
Wait, what does the Auspex do?
Don't know. You'll just have to get there and bring it back so we can examine it.
Did you hear? A kid got his tongue stuck to a javelin by licking it on a dare.
There she is, hero of Fort Tarsus, the heart of rage, no less. I knew he'd bring the thunder.
Along with a few thousand rounds of ammunition. Surprised there's any left in Fort Tarsus.
Don't sell yourself short. Took a lot more than bullets to win. This was a statement. The freelancers are back, and not even the Anthem's temper can stop them.
Thanks. I'm sure some new trouble is bound to come along.
In this world, I guarantee it. Not a month goes by, I'm not shaking my head at some crazy thing a Shaper Relic has done. But I'll feel better knowing the freelancers are back in business.
We wouldn't be anywhere without the guys selling us a little thunder and lightning.
No, I just bottle it. You deliver it.
Well, don't ever stop. We'll need plenty of bottles, I'm sure.
What I wanted to hear.
I'd best get back to it.
Don't be a stranger.
We're featuring special compound. There you are. Tassin was looking for you, I think.
You know, you surprised me.
How's that?
I never questioned your battle skills, but your resolve and mental toughness exceeded my expectations.
Nice of you to say, but why did you doubt me at all?
That's my job. I doubt people.
Are you gonna grill me now? How did I do it? Am I a Dominion double agent? That kind of thing?
Sorry to disappoint you, freelancer. Full disclosure, though. I'm about to give you another compliment.
Why are you being so nice?
You shut down the heart of rage.
Oh, that old thing.
Do you know what I like about you?
My eyes?
What? No, don't be ridiculous. I'm trying to tell you something important.
Sorry, I thought we were connecting.
I admire your loyalty. You stuck by your friends and stayed true to Fort Tarsus.
That's just the kind of freelancer I am.
I agree. Did you know that besides resourcefulness, courage, and intelligence, Corvus values loyalty above all?
What about ruthlessness?
Sometimes it's necessary, but it's not a Corvus value.
Good to know.
And cruelty is not one of your strengths.
So then why pick me?
I've always trusted you.
You had a strange way of showing it.
What can I say? I work for Corvus. I'll be in touch.
I'm sure you will. Hi, Johnny.
There you are. Heard you got back in one piece.
Were you worried?
No. Yes. I mean, the Heart of Rage and I have a nasty history.
Right. I heard you were in Freemark.
You're a great freelancer. But that storm killed some of our best.
We can't forget those who died, but at least no one else will die there.
Thank you. It means a lot to me and my brother.
You're welcome.
Anyway, congratulations. You're a big fish now. You should celebrate. Look around this place. The difference you've made is amazing.
Thanks.
I especially love that they fixed the Lancer statues in the courtyard. They meant so much to me as a kid.
How come?
Well, Fort Tarsus was my home and my prison. Safe behind the walls. Day in, day out. But Lancers got to see the whole wide world. They were hope. When I felt cold or small, I'd sit across from the statues and my daydreams would warm me up. So, yeah, the fort is feeling better. More like home.
Hopefully, those giant lancers will inspire other kids like you.
Maybe.
Will I see you around then?
I'll be around. Take care, big fish.
Haven't heard from her. Nothing.
She never wrote you back?
Nope. Never got anything after the last letter. It's been a whole month.
Maybe the letter got lost. Mail isn't so reliable.
Maybe. Maybe she's ignoring me.
I wouldn't worry. It's not like her to ignore you.
Well, I wasn't trying to be harsh.
No, you said what you had to say.
I just hope it isn't the last time we speak.
Hey, buddy, got the latest reports if you're interested. Working hard out there.
There you are. You missed Halleck and Yarrow's duet. I may have recorded it.
Good, good. There you are. I have news on our missing Shaper fragments.
You found them?
Not exactly, but I do know that coward Diggs is planning on selling them off to the highest bidder.
An auction?
Yes, some of the Arcanists you rescued overheard a few things. Gave me the idea.
Where would this happen?
I talked with some freelancers. Got some locations that would be ideal. My gut tells me Diggs won't wait long to do this.
Sounds right. Okay, I'll get out there and start a search.
The Heart of Rage is no more. Freelancers kept their promise. I will shout this from the rooftops. The rooftops, you hear me?
I hear you.
I'm pretty sure there's something going on there.
You think?
I don't think, I know.
Well, you should have just said that in the first place.
I did.
No, you didn't. You said pretty sure.
Which is the same as I know.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Are you Sev?
In the flesh. You must be the freelancer Tassin hired. Huh. You actually look capable.
Were you expecting otherwise?
No? Well, sort of. I'm used to getting scraps, not resources.
I thought Corvus would have plenty to go around.
Oh, they do. But I'm in the proverbial doghouse. Long story short, I pissed off the wrong people and ended up in this shithole.
At first glance, Fort Tarsus may not seem like much, but...
It's a shithole. The bar doesn't even have a name.
It used to, but...
I know the story. All the stories. Let's just talk about the job. Corvus has been tracking an Ascari that calls itself Skilos.
I've dealt with Iscari before.
Then you know they're not your average Scar. A swarm united under an Ascari's command can be devastating. I sent a team of agents to ambush Skilos. It didn't go as planned. The creature was able to retreat to its nest before we could finish the job.
Where's the swarm located?
In a cave network underground. I won't lie to you, freelancer. This is gonna be tough.
Send the coordinates to Faye. We'll contact you when I reach the nest.
Hey, my friend.
Alec? Feeling okay?
Yep, had a bottle of cackleberry wine. Been waiting years to pop it open. Needed the right occasion.
Ah.
Faye calls it truth juice, so I'm waiting here for the truth of life to infuse my brain. Hoping the anthem might sing to me. Anyway, so... I once took a whiz in my javelin.
Halleck, I think it's a different kind of truth juice.
Hey, if you gotta go, you gotta go. Made my bladder gladder right there in the suit.
That's probably enough wine for one day.
Too late. Drank it all. Waiting for the truth to hit me.
I think it already...
Truth is, I don't think we'd ever be friends.
Well, it was touch and go.
But the truthier truth is I was wrong. Turns out, you're okay. Just don't go telling Halleck I said that.
Pretty sure he's not going to remember any of this.
I hope he does. It's fun having a friend. You can tell him things. Like, once I took a whiz in my javelin.
So I've heard.
Yeah, but have you heard I'm the Crimson Lancer? Pretty sure they based the whole show on me. Seize your glory, Lancers! Into the maw! Death is just our union with old friends!
It's uncanny.
Right? Don't need wine to see that.
Madam Chronicler.
Ah, you did it.
Did what?
Silence the heart of rage, my dear. Who'd have thought?
Well, I had help. Halleck and Faye.
Who are you serving with modesty? You did a great thing and you must acknowledge it. As my mentor, Negandel, used to say, you know who Negandel is, of course.
I must admit I don't.
How is that possible? He's only the greatest cipher who ever lived, and royalty. Oh, my dear. Is it possible you have amnesia?
I don't have amnesia. We've been through this already.
We have? How ironic that I should forget that. As Negandel used to say, and say to me in particular, let others celebrate your gifts, for what is ordinary to you is a miracle to another.
I guess so.
Things will never be what they were, but they are getting better. And so I shall reward you with the gift of knowledge, of course.
Of course.
I'd like to present you with an old favorite of mine, the Freelancer 3. It's about as famous as you will be.
Thanks very much for the book, Madam Chronicler. And now I should get going. See ya.
See ya? Yeah. You can't muster a better goodbye than that.
What's wrong with see ya? Everyone knows it just means see you later.
Can you guarantee every single person in Bastion knows that?
It's common enough.
But you are not common. Nor should you stoop to be so.
Right. Who does modesty serve, anyway?
Goodbye, Freelancer.
Goodbye.
People don't realize the danger of standing water.
Freelancer, you're here. Good.
What have you got for me, Bryn?
Remember that ultra-powerful Shaper relic the Scars were enhancing with Arcanist machinery?
Yeah, and that Iskar is saying the relic would bring down the fort.
Scars hit it well, but thanks to our beacons, I may be onto something. We're detecting a massive Scar presence and a power signature I don't recognize. It's got to be the relic.
I'm on it.
Go, Freelancer. And thank you.
The latest Detective Hops mystery airs tonight.
Is this the episode where they find bones in the Pharaonics tank and it turns out?
Hello, Freelancer.
Hello, Perndall.
So, are we both thinking a thank you is in order?
Oh, you're welcome.
No, I wasn't thanking you. You should be thanking me. The fountain is running.
You finally did it. Good for you.
Thank you. I'm delighted we finally got it flowing. We discovered the problem was that people were siphoning water off our main fountain line.
People, huh?
Exactly. I think a plumbing bylaw will prevent this from happening in the future. Of course, now that the fountain is flowing, we've run into a new set of problems.
All right, what issues are we facing?
The water around the fountain's edge is a slipping hazard.
That sounds dangerous.
It is. I'm considering turning down the fountain.
Won't that make it less spectacular?
Yes. But sometimes safety comes before spectacular. Or we could install warning signs and erect barriers.
That sounds extreme.
It's a fine balance between a beautiful oasis and a death trap.
What's the logical solution?
Survey how many people enjoy the fountain versus how many people are injured.
Sounds like a plan.
Then we can analyze benefits versus costs and propose recommendations based on our findings.
You're very thorough, Perndall.
Thank you. It's important to never rush safety. That's how people get hurt.
And it is nice to see the fountain running.
It really is. And Freelancer, thanks for silencing the heart of rage.
Why they haven't worked together before now. The stories say the Sentinels and Freelancers were all in the Legion of Dawn.
You fight hardest with your siblings, and over the smallest things.
That's right, isn't it? My brother and I, when we were little.
I didn't know you had a brother.
I don't anymore.
Oh.
He was a Sentinel. Maybe if a freelancer watched his back, we could still be fighting over who gets the bigger slice of pie. I think the fort benefits from Sentinels and freelancers working together.
For the first time in a long time, I actually feel safe.
Let's hope it lasts.
You doing okay? That attack on the Strider must have been hair-raising.
I knew you'd make it in time.
Did you? Are you saying I imagined all the panicked shrieking?
I didn't shriek. Did I? Please tell me I didn't. I don't like limits. I wish I could go where you go, see the things you see. Like a cataclysm up close. I want to see what that's like. Do you think I could?
With enough training, a really powerful suit, and an armed escort, you could maybe survive in a cataclysm for 10, 20 seconds.
A worthy goal to aim for.
You know, the last person I knew who wanted to be a Lancer ended up betraying me.
Owen. Oh, right. I didn't mean... I don't really want to be a Lancer. I just want to see more of the world. Sometimes a javelin is the only way. I want to explore. I want to do things. Make my mark. Somehow.
Haven't you already done that? I couldn't have silenced the cenotaph without you.
But that was all of us.
Oh, I see. This is about being separate.
I know. Selfish, isn't it?
You know how good you are together. I think you need each other.
Right. Of course. I shouldn't think solely of what I want. I'm one of three. Thank you for letting me ramble. You've been a friend.
Anytime.
I bet we're being watched. The symposium. I'll make a move soon. We have something they want. I just have to use that to our advantage somehow.
If you need my help, you know where to find me.
Good to know.
Aside from all that, how are things?
You know, trying to keep busy. Maddie's out finding new fun things to do. Errol's working on work. And I'm trying to find where I fit in, I suppose. It's messy. I feel set adrift sometimes.
You'll make it work. That's what you do. You figure out how to make the best of a situation.
It's easier when I have a target, someone to be angry at or something to work on. What would you do?
I'm not you. Telling you what to do wouldn't help.
You're right. I'll just have to go on this journey alone.
Not alone. I can't walk the distance for you, but I can walk it with you.
Shut up. You'll make me have feelings.
Oh no. Feelings.
Oh, before I forget. I ran into Aruna. She was happy to hear we made it out alive. She also said something about taking your advice. She wanted me to catch up on old times or something.
Of course Aruna would go after the bad boy. Typical.
You're mumbling.
Never mind. You two should, definitely catch up.
You ask me? Matthias didn't appreciate what he had back then. Anyway, I won't keep you. See you around?
Still pursuing the mystery of Robin Moore's hidden message?
Of course. In fact, Maddie wants to talk to you about that.
I'll keep that in mind. What else is new with you?
I've read some books since we last chatted.
And?
There is no and. Must there be something else?
I guess there doesn't need to be, if you're happy the way you are.
I am content. Yes, Maddie requires novelty. Sumner needs something to be angry at. I find that my academic pursuits fulfill my needs. Someone must be the Arcanist.
Don't the others?
They help. Their diverse perspectives are critical. But of late, most of the scholarly tasks have fallen to me.
Doesn't that piss you off?
Should it? Matthias did all the work himself. Nothing has changed. Among the three of us, I've had the easiest time adjusting to the division. Matthias was an Arcanist. I am still an Arcanist. The non-scholar parts of Matthias must figure out their place. It can't be easy. I'm glad you're our friend. That means you'll be here for them.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm glad to hear it. Now I should let you go.
See you around, Errol.
So, you're the one after all. I thought it might be you. The Grandmaster talked to you?
I talked to him, yeah. What's this about?
You've been making waves. Opening the gates of the Fortress of Dawn? Not bad. But reaching the inner sanctum? All kinds of wheels started turning in Anthem when you did that.
What do you mean? Why would anybody in Anthem care about me?
I mean that wheels literally started turning inside the palace. Ardenvasa built some device to tell him if a worthy lancer appeared. I hear it told half the city.
That's huge and unexpected.
A lot of eyes are watching you now, wondering what you'll do next.
Yes. Well, they're not the only ones.
I can help you with that. I guess it's time to properly introduce myself. I'm the lawkeeper and storyteller for the Legion of Dawn.
The Legion is gone. It broke apart centuries ago.
The Lancers left the path, it's true. But there have always been a few souls tasked with keeping the Legion alive. Ardenvasa left the wheels ready to turn for a reason. The path of the Legionnaire has been waiting, like the doors at the Fortress of Dawn, for a worthy Lancer.
I passed all the tests. I was welcomed into the Legion of Dawn already. Sort of.
The trials proved you're worthy to become a Legionnaire, but you're not one yet. You know the stories of General Tarsis. Do you know the tales of her most trusted council?
I've heard their names, children's stories, but I don't think that's what you're asking.
You should know whose footsteps you're following. At the height of the dawn, countless lancers flocked to the banner of General Tarsis. All who had the heart to fight were given a place, but a few were more than just lancers. These were the boon companions of Tarsis, walking the path as she did, the Legionnaires.
I know you're not asking me to become best friends with the late general.
In a way, I am. Ardenvasa, builder of the first javelin, the first emperor, Sanadine, whose swiftness inspired Corvus, Medeiros, Magnastral, and Leotrail the Unbroken. They all had one thing in common. They shared the ideals of Helena Tarsis.
And you want me to do that too?
Follow in their footsteps. Become a Legionnaire. So many eyes are watching you. If you can do this, revive the path of the Legionnaire, maybe the glory days of the Legion are only beginning. Medeiros was the son of arcanists. He had lived his entire life in a cavern, underground, hiding. At 10 years old, he had never seen the sky or an Urgoth or any beast but men. The world was utterly unknown to him, except for tales of horror and woe. But among the stories warning children to hide and obey their parents, Medeiros heard one other, a whispered tale of a rebellion against the Urgoth and a legion rising to set all people free. So, at just 10 years old, Medeiros left the safety of the Arcanists to find the Legion of Dawn.
His parents couldn't have just let him go, could they?
They forbade him, of course, but he picked his moment and ran away. Raised to be a scholar, he knew how to read the secret signs of the Arcanists. He followed them through the wilds to the Legion of Dawn. Or he tried to, anyway. The Chimera had a different plan.
Is this the kind of story where a small boy fights a chimera with a stick and a rock?
No, although most of those stories you've heard are based on Medeiros. He'd never seen a chimera. He'd never even seen a grabbit, but he was a very good student. He learned all the warning signs that he was being hunted and remembered stories about laying false trails. He led the chimera on a long and winding path through the rocks, back and forth. He could never shake the creature, but it could never find him. Then the other hunters came. General Tarsis, in the first javelin ever made. Testing her new armor, she found the chimera stalking the boy.
Lucky for Medeiros.
No luck about it. Tarsis followed his trail, just as the chimera did. She was just learning the javelin. No one knew what it could do, not even the man who made it. Not trusting her suit's strength in a fight with the chimera, she lured it into chasing her instead. While it ran after Tarsis, Leotrel found the boy and spirited him away to safety.
After all that, he just went home again? It's not much of a story.
I said safety, not home. They took him to their own camp, where the Legion hid at the time. When Tarsis asked where he lived and who his people were, Medeiros replied, "You are my people." The others tried to persuade him to return home, but after a long moment, Tarsis said, "He is home." From then on, Medeiros served as a page to the Legion of Dawn. Eventually, he became a legionnaire himself. But that's another story. You've walked the path of valor. By now, I suppose that's not really a surprise. It's time to tell you how the freelancers began. Medeiros was raised by the Legion of Dawn. He witnessed Tarsis testing the first javelin. He was at the general's side when the fortress was built, earned his own javelin, and fought beside her. Even at the Battle of Anthem Pass. Of the company that stood with Tarsis and held back the Urgoth, only Medeiros survived.
I didn't know anyone survived the Battle of Anthem Pass.
It's easy to forget, since most stories focus on the general's death. In grief, the Legion tore itself in two. Half went with Magnastral, half with Arden Vasa, and one legionnaire who went with no one. Medeiros stayed at the Fortress of Dawn, even though the gates were sealed and the Lancers gone for good.
You said the story was about freelancers. None of us were at the Fortress of Dawn.
Of course not. It was locked up tight. Alone in the courtyard, Medeiros heard a distant roar.
Okay, that's better.
It was a sound he remembered, for it haunted his dreams. The roar of the chimera Cindermore, the monster that stalked him long ago.
The same one. It was still alive?
It vanished for more than a decade, but with the general's death, it returned.
This time, he faces it down and wins.
Not exactly. Alone, he stood no chance. But the city of Anshar lay helpless in its path. He had no choice. He found the chimera's trail and followed it, not to the monster, but to its lair. For he knew that if he silenced the relic that created it, Cindermore would lose its power.
That's all great if the ruin was empty.
That was the problem, yes. Medeiron found the relic, though the monster was right beside it. But he had plenty of experience in laying false trails. Medeiron woke the Chimera, and it chased his false tracks while he slipped past and silenced the relic. Cindermore fell, and the Lancer finally defeated the beast that stalked him long ago. In that moment, Medeiron knew his calling, to walk the path of valor, even if he walked it alone.
What do you think?
Of all the Legionnaires, Magna Strahl was the most renowned for her feats of strength. But it wasn't always so.
I've only ever heard about Strahl leaving the Legion. Nothing about what she did before.
Bastion likes to forget that she was ever a Legionnaire. The Dominion, that she was flawed and human. But she was many things. Loyal and a deserter, ordinary and legendary. She came to the Legion of Dawn as a young girl. Her village was raided and everyone taken. Almost. She was so small she hid inside a basket. The Urgoth surely caught her scent, but they thought her too weak to bother taking.
I didn't think Urgoth ever left humans behind during their raids.
Stories say they sometimes left the weak, sickly, and elderly. Alone, unarmed, she followed the secret Arcanist signs to Sanctuary, where the rebels hid and plotted. There, Strahl begged Tarsis to let her join the Legion, to grant her vengeance. But the general refused. She said Magna wasn't ready, and sent her away. Strahl couldn't accept that. So she went out alone to fight the Urgoth.
Without a javelin? That's insane.
She set traps, ambushes. She poisoned spears and knives. Any small advantage she could take against a vastly superior enemy, she gladly took. She nearly died dozens of times, but vengeance drove her onward. And the Urgoth fell. She carried trophies to the Sanctuary, day after day, week after week.
Poison and stealth do not sound all that mighty.
Remember that for General Tarsis, the trial of might involved luring enemies into a trap. Might isn't just simple feats of strength. It's achieving your goal with whatever means available. Finally, General Tarsis spoke with her. "What do you want?" she asked. "I want to join the Legion of Dawn," Magna replied. Tarsis looked at her and asked, "Why? You already have your revenge." The general looked to the many, many Urgoth trophies Strahl fought for. At first, Strahl had no answer. Then, after a long moment, she said, "It's where I belong." To which Tarsis answered, "Then you're finally ready to join us."
So what happened? How did Strahl end up leaving the Legion and founding the Dominion?
That's a story for another time. So, now that you've walked in her footsteps, let me tell you the final tale of Magna Strahl. When General Tarsis fell, those closest to her went into mourning. Each carried grief in their own way. For Magna, the loss of her friend and leader turned to rage. She couldn't rest while a single Urgoth lived. They were already broken by the sword of Fulminus, terrified, fleeing to the dark corners of the world. But hard on their heels, Strahl came, hunting them one by one.
This sounds like the other story you told me.
Listen to enough tales of Magna Strahl and a pattern emerges. When at last her scouts found no more enemies, she returned to the Fortress of Dawn. There she found the doors sealed. The Legionnaires were preparing to leave it forever.
Even after I went inside, I've never heard why the fortress was sealed up.
I'm getting to that part. While Strahl eased her grief with battle, Arden Vasa fixated on his duty. With her final breath, Tarsis had made him swear Antium would not fall, no matter the cost. At her command, Vasa prepared to take the entire Legion of Dawn to safeguard Antium for all time. Outraged at what she saw as desertion, Strahl ordered the Lancers to halt, and they obeyed. Her general secured a future for all people, not just Antium. She called for the Legion to follow her, to battle the enemy in the darkness where they'd fled.
So which one had the right idea?
Well, if you ask a sentinel, Arden Vasa. Ask a paladin, it's Strahl. A freelancer usually says neither. Strahl was admired, some might say revered, by many, and they gladly joined her cause. Vasa called them traitors. Strahl declared those who stayed behind were cowards, and the Legion broke. Those who followed Magnus Strahl called themselves paladins and went north to pursue the enemies of man. They vanished into the darkness and were never heard from again.
How did the Paladins become the Dominion?
I wish I knew that story. I doubt even the Dominion knows it, really. They lost the path. They no longer use their strength to protect anyone, let alone everyone. I doubt anyone in the Dominion even remembers that was their purpose. That's why it's vital that we remember. Strahl's story and the Path of Might cannot be allowed to die.
I'll remember.
Good.
What do you think you're doing? You're damaging those books.
Before the Battle of Antium Pass, the Legion's test of resolve had a different basis. It began with Leotrel, the general's oldest friend. When Tarsis first raised an army against the Urgoth, Leotrel was with her. The Arcanists were hidden from them. They hadn't yet found Arden Vasa. No lancers, no javelins, no weapons, no fortress. Not even a good hiding place. Nothing but the vision of Helena Tarsis and Leotrel's unbreakable will.
You can stop building suspense. I already know they formed the Legion.
This story isn't about whether they succeeded, it's about how. A legion needs soldiers, and it began with just one. The two set out to find the Urgoth. The plan was simple. Follow the raiders and warn villages in their path. At first, they succeeded in getting word of the coming Urgoth to people in time. Villagers fled, but the longer the Urgoth went without a catch, the faster it spurred their hunt. Finally, Tarsis and Leotrel arrived at a town with the Urgoth on their heels. Flight was impossible, so they stood and fought.
Fighting Urgoth without a javelin, by themselves. That took guts.
Tarsis hoped to slow the Urgoth enough that some villagers could escape. The two of them, alone, armed with simple weapons, were little more than an annoyance to the enemy. But they fought. Despite greater numbers, strength, and weapons, the Urgoth could not subdue them. Finally, with Tarsis wounded and Leotrel at the point of exhaustion, the two prepared for the end. But the villagers rallied. With tools and improvised weapons, they joined the battle and routed the enemy. Many innocents were taken that night, but not all of them. Because people fought the inevitable, and the rest is a tale for another time. You've walked the path of resolve. It's a hard one to travel.
You're not going to tell me about the last stand of General Tarsis now, are you? Because I've heard that story many times before.
No. This is the story of how the Legion endured its own destruction. While Vasa and Strahl fought about which way to take their lancers, Leotrel prepared. She prepared her oldest friend for burial. She prepared places for all the fallen, and she prepared the way for those still to come. She took Garrett's volumes of the Legion from the Fortress of Dawn before it was sealed. She left Helena's signet in the General's tomb, waiting for the right hand to reclaim it.
The Hand of Tarsus, you mean? Faye said the Legion believed she'd come back one day.
They did believe that. Leotrel most of all. She would not abandon her friend or her path, even though the battle was over. The world would always need Tarsus, and Tarsus would always need legionnaires. She followed Ardenwasser to Anthem for a time, and left the records with trusted lancers, to be maintained and passed down, generation after generation.
To you. This is your story.
Our story. The Legion lives on through us.
What happened to Leotrel?
Oh, once her preparations were complete, her plans in motion, she left Anthem and vanished. Like the beginning. The end of her story is a mystery. But it's not beginnings or endings that matter. It's the path you follow between them.
What do you think you're doing? You're damaging those books. Stop that at once.
I need to mark my place.
Don't fold the pages. Use a bookmark like a civilized person.
Bookmarks fall out.
Are you juggling them? No? Then they'll be fine. Use a bookmark.